So today we are going to do an EOD breacher board. And EOD stands for Explosive Ordnance Disposal. So that was things that they used to disassemble explosives. And in the past they had one from high carbon steel, which was very functional. Only 227 gram and would rust. And this one is out of titanium. So this means it doesn't rust. And also you reduce the weight to 139 gram. So that's quite nice. You also get some paracord with it. So next to the weight, you can also run through the length. The length, as you can see here, is 20 centimeters. Width is a tad over 3 centimeters. Like 3.5. The thickness a little bit over 4 millimeters thick. So why would you want to have such a tool? It's just a simple plate of steel, but it does have a nice grind, so you can help to separate parts. As you can see here, it's also to the middle, so it's hey boy, it's shaped towards a point from both sides. It's not sharp, and also here you have a grind that's only from one side. This helps with prying, for example, and also you get a notch that's cut out here, so it's not a straight edge here. It also helps with not losing the tip. The other side is sharp. Some people like to resharpen these edges to become a sharp edge, and also this bevel, but normally EOD uses them in their moly sheets, and then it's nice that it's not sharp, so you can just stick it in there and pull it out if you want to. But if you want to have a miniature axe-like tool, this could help as well, to pry it. You don't need the sharp edge. Also, why would you like this kind of tool? You could also use as an improvised shovel, so to dig into the earth or to pry things open. I think this is the maximum size, 20 centimeters, that you can have in your pocket. I'll show you here a normal pocket. There's already something in. Let's release that. You see it can go away. If you do it in the front pocket, which is less deep, still leave something about some room around. Normal pocket pry board that I often use is this little guy. As you can see, it's really a lot bigger. And even this little guy is a little bit unhandy to use, but if you already have like a wallet there, you can stick them in, then it doesn't matter, it's just riding flush. So next to those details, the benefit of a little bit more length is that you have more leverage. So if you need to separate things, also if you would sharpen it, of course the purchase would be a little bit easier, but then also you will damage the things that you want to separate from each other. So a nice chunk of steel, and as I mentioned, it's not that nice to use if you have this in your hands, because it's quite sharp. Also the back is quite sharp to feel, and normally they would wrap it with paracord. And the funny thing about paracord is that you get something that is relatively light, but also very strong. And another benefit is that there are like 7 strands in there, as you can see here. and those strands can be used to make, for example, a fishing rope or something like that. So if you want to wrap it, you just take the two sides of the paracord, so the two ends, and you start working your way around. So normally, for example, you start by pushing it through one of the holes. I would like to use the second hole, if it does work like that. It wants to cooperate a little bit. So as I mentioned, the strands are beneficial aspects. You can see them, I think, a little bit easier. 6, 7. But it also makes it harder to push them through, because normally at least one of the strands doesn't want to go in. So this could take a little bit more time than I wanted it to take. But here you go, I think they are in. You should make sure that also the coat goes in. So what they, as the name implies, this is also a type of cord that was used in the military. So for example by paratroopers, and the benefit is that you get a lot of strength with it, and also a lot of versatility. So I just pulled it through the first hole, as you can see, and normally we have to do the same with the second hole as well. So you can easily see how it tries to go all the directions instead of the one that you want it to go. You can also solve this by just burning it with a lighter. I think this would be a good thing to do, but I forgot. Let's pause it here and burn it with a lighter. So as mentioned before, I would advise, if you want to do this, to burn it with a lighter, so that you don't get the troubles that I had by all the strings going all the places you don't want them to go. So normally you can just burn them together, and that would often help tremendously. But they are already you have to use wet fingers to take them through. Okay, let's see. The drawback of what I just did, burning it with a lighter, is makes it harder to be separated in a later time. For example, if you are somewhere you need the cord, for example, to make something out of it. As I mentioned, even sometimes they even make fishing gear out of it. Pulling it through. Wow, it took some miles. You should put it through like this, and then start wrapping. You can start by giving the first wrap on the top, and then go from that, like I did here. And you go again, so second wrap from the top. You pull this again, third wrap from the top, but you can pull it again. And for example, you can also opt to do this like 4 times, and then 1 time go below them again. So what you then do is, instead of going over the top, you will go below the handle cord. Just put it completely through. But you can do this also like 4 times. Try to keep it as stiff as possible when you wrap the cord. It gives a nice effect. You don't want the handle to be too loose, of course. I'm just pulling it through. Oftentimes they use a vise to put a pry tool in. Yeah, my little patterdale examining the cord. I'm already glad that he doesn't try to hunt it. Okay, as you can see here, I did 4 times above the cord, 4 times below the cord now. Now if you pull this again tightly, and you go overhead again, so again 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and again 4. So as you can see now, I already did 4 times again, so I'm going to go underneath one last time. Also the other end you could seal up with a lighter, of course. I didn't do it, as I mentioned, to retain, if possible. So you see, now I made it a little bit less tight. And it's not what I want. So I will try to solve this. Now I try to re-tighten it. And then put it through again for those last 4 times. The thing is, if you don't what I did now, I just pulled it through. What I completely not my what I did, I mistaken one cord for the other and pulled it through, which I didn't like. So now I have to try and fit it all in again. Oh no. It's not as nice as I want it to be. So what I did now is again use the lighter, this time on the outer fairings. Also try to put 7 strands again together. Try to refit it again in the holes. Also, because of the light, you make it a lot harder, because they become less flexible that way. Let's see, I'll try it again. I will light it again. If you make your fingers a little bit wet, it's easier, because then you don't get burnt. Still very hard. Try to pull it through again if it wants to. A small plier would perhaps work wonders. So there it comes. And now I hope I can push the outer body right through. Also, the outer body is now a little bit more rigid, because we used the fire up on top of it. What I did not do is keep this tight. I tried to re-tighten it again. So again the 4 times, and now I have to go underneath, so I have to give it a little bit of room here. Take it underneath. Try to do this 4 times. This 3rd time. Now we'll be a little bit more cautious not to again disrupted. Otherwise I have to restart again. It's the fourth time. So you can retighten it again. So with 4 times you have enough for one single layer. But because we still have cords, we can also do an additional layer if you would like to. So next to the possibility to add a second layer, you can also try to get the coils a little bit more tight, like I'm doing now. So you push them to the extreme where possible to get more real estate that you can cover. Also pushing this against your belly, in this case your rib cage is not the most pleasant experience, as you can probably imagine. It's also a good thing that it's not sharpened. So by doing so you can gain at least one extra choil which can go over again if you want to. Which could give you something like this. It is far better than it was the first time. But I would like to end it with an last choil under the base. So these are 4 above, and now I'm trying to get some additional room by again pressing the coils that we already had. You can see here, it gets harder and harder to get more access, because they're getting quite tight already. But why would I want to go one additional time? Is that I want it to end under this string here that you have here. So now this is the string that goes over. It now ends underneath. And then you can retighten it again, and you have quite a nice weave, as you can see here. You can also choose to go a little bit further. The benefit of that is that you get more leverage here. The drawback could be that you want to attach something here that you can use it on, but you can still go, of course, a little bit further and then use it again for similar purposes. Also, you see, by pressing a lot, like I did here, I also pulled it over the last hole that was there, so I can try to get it again a little bit more backwards. So you leave room for that additional hole. As you can see here now, it's re-emerging a little bit. And if you do so, you can also try to do it again on the other side, which is now like this. So what we do now is again put it through the hole, like we did here. So as you can remember, I already used a little bit of lighter on this to make it better. It tries to play. To make it more robust, use the ball. He's going to fetch it now. So again, as mentioned, you can of course try to machine it through, but it's quite hard. I'm gonna show you again to make it a little bit easier, I hope. To hit it again here, see it coming. a little plier could help quite a bit. Also this protection part I have tightened by using a lighter, but I don't know if it runs through. Yes, it does. So now you have the same as we had on the other side, and we can now do it also on this side. So the benefit of this weave is that you get a little bit more room to dampen it if you use it in a more forceful manner. Hey. This is a good thing to have. So what I did now, I will show you. Here I run the last underneath, and now I do the other side. So I can start again with pulling it over, or I can do one wind under, and I prefer one wind under in this case. But if I want to do it exactly the same as the other side, again, of course, go one wind over, but I prefer the under to start in this case. Now let's do over to give you the complete same thing as you saw before. So I go 2 times, and the additional benefit 3 times, 4 times of using paracord is that you get something that you can also use if you need a rope. You can just unwind this prying tool, digging tool, whatever you want to call it, and then get access to good quality paracord, which is quite beneficial. You also see that the thickness of the handle increases quite a lot. This also helps if you have a molly patch, that it doesn't fall through all the way. So again, 4 times. You can also use 3 times or 8 times, whatever you want. But the thing is, with 8 times you don't get many chords, but you can make it very tight, if that's something that you like. So now it's under 3 times. Then you can go over again. 1, 2, 3, 4 times over. And when you did 4 times over, you can also go under again. Another 4 times. 1, 2. So a thicker handle helps with the forces applied, but also gives you a nicer purchase for your hand, so you have a more solid grip. So again, the 4 times, as you can see here. So we tighten this cord again. Now go over. 1. Throw away the ball again. 2. 3. And 4. In this case, 4 times this doesn't give me what I want to have, because as you remember from the last time, I want to go underneath for the last time. So in this case you could either pull it to be completely symmetric again, so push back the choils as I'm doing now. It's quite hard, especially if you are working it for a while now. This will clear up some room. So if you don't want to ruin your nails, you can use another tool to do this. So sometimes you have to push back one by one, and it will be harder than the last time, because now the underground when you push it over, it's a lot more tight, because there are shells underneath that gives it additional resistance, of course. So now again I have the four, and I can go one more time under in this case, and clear it up. That's the last one. Also to note, the paracord here has went inwards, so you have to massage it out again. And this will be the end result. Quite fat paracord. You see the thickness? Quite a lot increased now. It gives a nice full grip, and also dampen it a lot. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Bye bye. So I just did one weave on the EOD pry bar, which I'm now going to show you how you can get the cord out if needed. This is very quick. You get quite a nice amount of cord out. From a bar you can use for digging, prying, or some simple cleaving. And can be put in your pocket if needed. And that already gave you some nice display of the cord. Also here you see the strands that are in, which are beneficial as well. If you need more cord, you can use just the strands. Even the outer case, so the one that is protecting the strands, only that outer case is often already good enough to help you gain a lot of access possibilities, and also often is able to keep up your weight if needed. So that's good to know. But only please try this with military grade paracord, and better not try it at all. But just in case of emergency, it's nice that you have something that is able to keep some weight. Paracord is especially strong when the 7 cores are in there, as well as the outer mantle. Then you have the added strength of those together, and even if one cord will rip, you already have redundancy built in, because you have 7 strands. So even if 2 or 3 strip get down, you still have a nice amount of strength left with the remaining cords. So as you can see here, now it's completely unwrapped. I'll just put it through to give you an idea how much cord was on this one little prying tool. Okay, so please keep with me. 1. And this amount of cord is on there. Have a great day. This time we will make a paracord wrap, do it a little bit different. Now I'm cutting off the strands, so there are 7 strands inside this paracord. Then I will seal it off with a lighter to make it robust. Also, please use wet hands, so do not get burned that easily. The other way around, just we do the same. First we will see where the paracord stops. I think it's about here. It's only the outer case. Yeah. This already contains the paracord 7 strains, as you can see. So again, light it up. Throw the ball. And this time I want to show you how you can also maximize the room that you want to use. So in this case, I will throw it through this hole, the second hole there is. So there you go. And then hit it up till the last hole, which is here. That approach can give you a lot more room to use. And you can also use this as a means to get a grip that you can apply. So for example, if you keep it like this, as you can see here, you can just start to work it. So now we start with the other strain. And just wind it over as you see fit. So keep this portion tight. Starting over. We just push and push. We have 4 strains now. Now we go under for an additional 4 strains. It's hard to keep it tight all the time, but it's a good thing if you are able to. It's also a lot easier if you put the EOD PRY bar in the vise, so it cannot go anywhere. I was just thinking I could do the same if I ran it through that other hole, but that would be a third time when we are weaving it for a third time perhaps. If this doesn't give me what I would need out of this pry bar, and also think that double amount of paracord of course gives you a lot more paracord, which is a good thing. But also gives unnecessary additional width to the tool, which I do not like as much. So now it's a good thing that it isn't sharpened. Otherwise you would just stick a sharpened object in your belly. This is the third time, as you can see. Now going for the fourth and last time underneath. So again putting it through. Throwing the ball to the dog. 4 times, done. Then you can retighten it again. So you just keep this, pull this through, and you're good to go. Huh? So now again you're able to go 4 times over. The benefit of using the less hole is that you get quite some more real estate, has to say. You give more room to put paracord. This is 4 times over, as you can see, and that gives you the benefit that you have more real estate for your hand to be put. Now I'm going underneath again, and of course you can do every fancy wave pattern that you want on this, but I like to keep it simple and functional. And it also helps to, if you need the paracord to be released, it will be a lot easier than you have to undo a lot of weaves. But perhaps you disagree and you want to do it completely different. Feel free to do so then, of course. So now I did hit 4 under, and I'm going to do 4 over again. Perhaps it was good if I took this to that side in one turn, but we will see. 3 and 4. So now it's 4 times over, and you can do plenty of things now. You can go underneath again, like this. Would be beneficial. I could also put it through this hole. Stuck on the shaft. Let's see where we were. So here we are again. I can go underneath now, if I want to. But I could also put it then through this loop here to give it an additional tightening possibility. So I have 2 hooks, one hook here and one hook there. And they are interchangeable. If you pull on one, then you get more room on the other. So I could go underneath and also underneath this one. So again, underneath. And what I want to achieve with this is to get a bit of grip that you can use for your hand, so that the tool doesn't slip that easily. If you want to release it and take another tool in your hand, for example, this could be beneficial. But let's see how far we go. So what I could do is retighten the upper side, and we have still this remaining. And we can try to weave these in again. But it would be nice, if you want to do this, to have one over this one. So that way, the less joil here, there, and we still have room to wiggle a little bit. So you can just adjust it the size that you want it, for example this size, and then you can go over and under again, I hope. Appears to be a little bit more tricky in practice. So perhaps if I stuck it through this hole at the beginning, as you remember, this would be a better try. We will try again in the 3rd attempt. 1, 2, 3. But as you can see, this is already a nice weave. Really like it. And also the grip is good without being excessive. Also, if you look at the width even with one layer is still considerably better than the original was. So let's try for part 3 now. So this will be part 3. We made this weave last time. Thing is, at the end I left out this part, and I would rather have it going to this hole to begin with. That way it would be quite sturdy and still easy to release if needed. So we will try that this time. So first off, we are going to pull this through to release the cord, then to unweave it quickly, which can be done extremely quickly, as you can see. Just pull this through, and then you can unleash a lot of cord extremely rapidly. This time we try to do it better. We always try to do it better. So we will start here. Perhaps get a little bit more to wiggle around. And then last time I let it come down here. Which would be good. And then to end on the other side here. So I will show you what I did. So here you have a loop. That loop corresponds with this one. And this will give you your handle room, I hope. And now I looped it back again here. And when it went from this to this hole. And I can put a little bit of a knot here. So it doesn't go anywhere, I hope. First give it a little bit more room. To tie the knot, so to say. Just a simple knot. Good suffices. So just this simple knot here. And even if I put it, it will tighten itself. As you can see. Okay. So now we can start. By again going over. So to start over. Now let's pull the knot a little bit tighter, so that we have a little bit more room to work with. And it can also give you the benefit to give you less visual appearance of the knot. 3 times, 4 times. So it's now 4 times over, as you can see here. And now we go under. But perhaps in this scenario it would be best to go under first. No, otherwise you will see the knot. I said this because then you could protect it from the cutting edge a little bit more. But hey, it's hard to get everything. Huh? So these two I can just pull on. And you can go under extremely easy. So this weave is there to maximize the room for your hand on the tool. That way you can exert more power more easily. An additional benefit of this approach is that you also get more room for paracord. So now 3 times under, going back for the 4th time. It will be 4 times. You can press on the knot a little bit more to deepen the charles a little bit. And again, we already have 4 times, so we go over again. So it's 4 times over, 4 times under, then over again. I'm still doubting if I should not go under the first time. I think this is a lot better because you can protect the cutting edge. Let's do that. And of course you will see a knot, so be it, but let's do it right this time. So again, release the cord again. Then the going over, it could be quite easily to get out of. There you go. So now I will try to go under to begin with. And perhaps this is even another big problem. because I can go under the first one and over the second one perhaps. So this is under. Second time under. Third time under. And fourth time. Now what happens here? So what did happen? One pulled over the knot. So this way it should be nicer. Goes there. That should be pulled like that. Okay. So that gives you 4 times under. Now I'll do 4 times over, which is easy of course. As you can see now it's a little bit more protected, eh? Four times over. Now we will retry with 4 times under. You can see now 4 times under, 4 times over, 4 times under again. We can re-pull on these one. Now we have 2 strains to work with. We can go over again. Let's go over both. That's most tidy idea, I guess. So here you see one is less tight as I want it to be. So let's retighten it if possible. This one is right. This one wasn't as tight as I wanted it to be. So now I will retighten it. Put the third one. Retighten it as well. And the fourth one. Tight. Over again 4 times. And 4. So far the progress can be pulled. Also pull here on the handles. And then we go under again. So we release the strains a little bit and go under again. One times. Two times. and 3. 3 times. The last time is 4th. So now it looks like that. You can retighten everything again, just pulling the strings. And now we went under, so we can go over again. Or even better, go through the holes here. So we can do 2 times over, like we did here, 2 times. Or we can just go in between the strands. I think this would be better, so now going to this handle strain here, see? And once I do, I will also go underneath again, the next stroke. This was over, this will go under, just to finish it up and give it a lot tighter. A lot tighter. To end it this way. So now we're done. Give you a little bit of an end overview of the bar. I only have to seal this off, and I can do it as 2 ways. Just tighten this one. And leave it like that. And perhaps also I could put it through this one again. Finish it up. So here this is the last strand that I just skipped. As you can see here. And then if you put it through again for less time, you can seal this part up nice and dandy. As in here, and just pull to the last string and then tighten it up again. Not convinced that this is the final product, or this is the best way to approach it, but I did try. I'm just thinking this is not the right way, so I pull this last one back out and rework what I had to give it the room that I wanted to have. Retighten it again. And then I think it would be the best way to just end it here. By tying a knot here. And do something like that. And just finish it off. So this is what it was, and now we just want to end it. Getting a little tie here. I can just pull through. And try to make it as stiff as possible. Like I did here. And then just cut it off. In this case a scissor. Can also be done by a knife. Seat it off. You still have the handle. And just seal off the other remainder part of paracord as well for future use. Bye bye. End product is this. Wasn't completely happy about the last part, so I will retry again. So I just cut it loose. I didn't like that it went over and under and was a little bit less rustic to my taste. So now we'll try a different approach. Give it like 4 times this. So now it could go under. Under is here in this case, so I just make some more room and just put it under. And then I can retighten it again a little bit more. And hopefully give it a better final taste. And perhaps I can just weave this under again. It could be quite hard because it already went in quite some times. How cool would it be if it would go in like this again? A little bit harder to do though. Perhaps something like this is a good solution. So you can just retighten it again. Feels nice. So what I want to do is to still make the paracord quick release without being it an ugly pain in the ass, so to say. Therefore I try to hide it under a little bit more of paracord, but it proves a little bit more of a challenge. Okay, let's see how this feels. The hot spots. No hot spots so far. Perhaps I should just go underneath this side. It tends to be tricky because there are like connecting parts of a bigger hole. So either way, if you just put them through, it will be hard. And if you don't put them through, it will be harder. So now I did it like this. I can just pull this little string to retighten it where I need it. That's also not something that I want, because now I cannot hammer again with it. So if you want to put some nails in, it's nice that you have a hammering surface without paracord there. What a horror. Some simple task, you think, huh? Can you imagine that some people do this to their hair all the time with this weaving? Newfound respect. Not that I like it, but it's clearly not as simple as one would think. Okay, this is the final installment. Still something you can hang it on. It's not wide enough for my neck. It's still nice to throw over your hand, and if you release it you still have the cord. You also can change the directions easily. Even that could be tighter if you would want. Still the quick release, so you just have to wrestle this little nut through this. You can even flex it easily with the handle now. See, by opening the handle you can release the knot easily. Also normally the handle will retighten the knot. Still nice surface to use. Tried it to be clear from the cutting edge. It appears to be quite clear of it. Of course, there's always a thing. When you have knots in place, it's hard to keep it like that. But this should be it. Final installment. Reverse side. So this gives additional thickness. Here you can see the thickness. So nice improvised shovel breech bar. Nice and thick, but not very heavy. And the pants could look like this. Easy to pull out, or in the deeper pants can go, of course, a little bit deeper. Especially if you remove the other pocket that is in there. So if I remove this one, it can go a lot deeper. It can even disappear completely. Quite flush as well. Pull it and you have it. Bye bye. So I wasn't pleased that this cord would go into this direction that you need for prying or separating. So I tried to go underneath both of the cords now, and try again with this wrap. So if you like to have a nice day of rest, you could give this to your friend or husband or whatever, and they will use quite some time to figure this out. Okay, 4 times under, then pull the cords again, both cords in this case, and then we can go 4 times over. 2, so 4 times under, 4 times over again. You can push and push, and this time I really hope it will stay away from the cutting edge. So 4 times over, then 4 times under again. Again release some of the tension here, pull it through. Already put a knot on the last one. 1, 2, and I also made use of this possibility to make this hole a little bit less, I thought. Still enormous. So perhaps I should do this again from the start. See how it works. And then we are here. Again releasing all the paracorders we have. The thing is, this is too much. So what we do is we will adjust a little bit by take it like this and then put it through here. And this little guy should make all the difference now. think it does, or doesn't it? Or just give it one less way to mess things up. You can pull again here, pull again a little bit here. There's quite some friction. Okay, starting again with 4 times under. Okay, if you see now, the handle should be a lot smaller. I think we can even take a little bit more. And why do I think that? Because if you are still pulling that all the time, normally it will become bigger and bigger because you put a lot of stress on it. On the other hand, it could be that, for example, by going over it, you can reduce a little bit again. So we will find out, won't we? So the trick should be 4 times. So 4 times underneath both of the top strands. Then we can pull them a little bit, or a little bit more, like this. And then work away. We have 4 now, over 1 time, over 2 times, over 3 times, and over 4 times. And you can push it again in the direction that you want. And we start the process, so now going under again. Should be with that Evanescence song, huh? I'm going under. Three times under. One more time, 4. So we have 4 times under, then put some pressure again to keep it tight. You can also pull here to make that tight again, the handle. And now we have this, and we can go over again. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, it's done. So now we want to go under again. First put some pressure here. 1, 2, 3, and one more. This makes 4. Pull, pressure again. Okay, we did this. And we only have this part remaining, which we need to go over again. So over, 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 and over is 4 times. And then I would like to end with going under it here at the end. Then you can put a knot and you are done, I hope. But perhaps it also needs to go. How does it go now? The benefit is that all the tension is now here. So you're not pulling this out again. That's a good benefit. Perhaps we can roll this over and use it there, or just cut it off here at the beginning and keep a little bit additional paracord here. So if that is the case, one should tighten it up a little bit more. It's also always a funny thing that you have to put so much tension on it to stay how it should stay. Perhaps you can do a little trick like this to give it a little bit more wiggling room, and then pull the knot once it's fixed, like that. Yes, that's the best one yet. This little knot we can just cut. Like there. Now use a lighter, but please keep it away from the other strands. And perhaps your fingers. So that's quite a tidy job. Now let's see the handle room. This is perfect. Perfect. So it can hang on there. You can also still change directions. Not as easy as a very long one now you are there. So the benefit of it being a little bit shorter, that you don't get stuck too easily in something else by using it, but still have all the leverage that you want in a relaxed space. As you can see, it's quite the length that you want it to have. And also now it's more sturdy, so it's easier to put somewhere if needed. Well, 3 times the charm, or even 4 times, but we did it. Have a great day.